Facebook. Rashonda, what did your daughter do and what did you do?
Well, my daughter posted a picture of herself holding a bottle of unopened liquor on Instagram. She had an Instagram account, and she posted a picture saying, "Wish I could drink this." So when I saw it, I was very disappointed because we had talked about it. So I made her hold a sign saying basically that she wasn't ready for social media and would be taking a hiatus. Bye-bye.
And I guess my question would be how your daughter responded to this. Did she fight against it? Did it work? Had there been repercussions?
Oh, she bawled. She told me I was ruining her life. I said, if Instagram and Facebook are your life, you don't have a very good life. But she was just distraught at first, the very first day. But by the second day, it had blown over. She just did not want to be embarrassed. But I needed to do something that would have a tremendous impact on her, and I knew that was it.
Well, Lisa, these days, that's the public square, social media. And so we're shaming kids in public domain. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay.
Not okay.
In fact, it's not a healthy thing to do. It might work in the short term, but we know that in the long term, humiliating a child leads to adults who are depressed, anxious, even suicidal. You know, kids are so sensitive to what their peers think of them.
And what their
I think a better approach,
too.
I agree with the mom here, that this child is not ready for social media. I think the better approach is take away the camera, take away the computer, and monitor the child more, because most kids are not ready for social media. We can't just let them loose. We need more parental supervision here.
Kim, do you agree with that? It's such a brave new world with social media. We don't even know the full implication of what's going to happen to this generation.
No, it's true. And if her daughter was saying, this is ruining my life, what really would have ruined her life is if something like that got out to college applications admissions officers who look at those things. We know that college admissions officers look at Facebook posts, look at Google. So if they see kids with alcoholic beverages, if they see things that are salacious on Facebook, that's not going to help them get into college. And it's also better that they do it now when they're 13, not when they're 22 and looking for a job and then they can't pay their rent because they can't get a job.
Rashonda, you say this kid wouldn't respond to anything else. Is there some kids that we should elect to use this sort of public humiliation, others not?
Absolutely. You know, you have to know your children. I have 3 children, and I wouldn't use this tactic on my middle child because I know her, and she's not as emotionally stable as my older daughter. So I knew that this was something that she could handle. But it amazes me, though, when I hear people say that it will ruin their life and, you know, they'll grow into depressed, suicidal adults. I was embarrassed. It was a different type of embarrassment. My mother would show up at a club in some rollers when I didn't miss curfew, and I turned out just fine.
Somehow I love your mother. Yeah, I love your mother.
That's like, we're all embarrassed by our parents. Shaming a child is very different, and I'll tell you that under the law here in California, where I practice, for example, humiliating a child is a form of emotional child abuse. And if a parent engages in that repeatedly, CPS, the Child Protective Services, can be called in. So I really want to caution parents against this.
Let's talk about this North Carolina dad who didn't like his daughter's comments on Facebook. You can never forget this particular tape. Take a look at this.
This is for my daughter, Hannah, and more importantly for all her friends on Facebook who thought that her little rebellious post was cute, and for all you parents out there that think your, kids don't post bad things on Facebook. This right here is my 45. That was the first round.
Kim, is that different than sitting the child down with a gun and making them watch you shoot it just because it's on electronic media? Is it somehow we, as adults, think it's different?
Yeah, well, it's scary, but obviously...
Scary either way, right?
It's really scary either way. But, I was saying before that obviously if a child is applying for college or applying for a job, there are things on Facebook are going to show up. But something like this is almost even worse because this got so much more attention than her little bratty Facebook post. I mean, this became a national story. It was joked about on late-night shows. I mean, this was everywhere, this story. So anyone that searches this girl's name is going to come across this video.
Lisa, what do we do with this?
Yeah, I don't think gun violence is the answer to our problems.
Slow down now, slow down. Really? It's not Yosemite Sam coming out with pistols?
Look, I get the point. What I did with my kids, and I wrote a parenting book, Swagger. I'm very passionate about these issues. With my kids, I would take away the devices when they were getting out of control.
Okay,
That's really the key here.
Let's slow down. The one thing that behaviorists have shown, I hope I'm not speaking out of school, I'm not a behaviorist, but my understanding is withdrawing a positive is the most powerful way to shape behavior.
Yes, and the punishment should be connected to the crime. I'm a lawyer, so in my household, I was the judge. And so if they steal something, they have to return it.
They have
to take money out of their own pocket for retribution, and they have to write a letter of apology, right? So I always tried to fit the punishment to the crime, and I think that has the best effect on kids.
But I disagree, because here's the thing. We take away the phone and they go to school and their friends have phones and they get on their friends' phones. And if we're not teaching a valuable lesson and showing the impact of this, they're just going to do what we're taking away from them, all of these material things, and then they go and do it on their friends' phones. I'm an author, so I travel, I talk to kids, and you'd be amazed at the Facebook accounts, the Twitter accounts they have that their parents have no clue about.
Rashonda, you were bringing up a great point and a really important part of this conversation, which is this generation is ahead of us on these technologies.
Exactly.
We don't really know the full impact. I'm starting to hear some of it these days, and kids are in their 20s. And we as parents don't know how to manage it because we've never been presented with this stuff before. So thus these conversations.
But public shaming is never the solution.
Well,